So we'll start the meeting. First of all, any apologies?
No.
None. Any leave of absence at all? Are there any conflict of interest? See the items. Public forum? No need for public forum, and to my knowledge there are no extra urgent items. Alright, could I get someone to move the confirmation of the minutes of the 7th of October, please? Thank you, Naomi, and seconded by Councillor Menzies. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Go straight to item 7.1, the road operation, September 2020, on page 15 of your agenda.
Thank you.
Good morning,
Mr. Chairman, councillors. This is September's road operation report, outlining the major contracts and maintenance for the month of September. Maintenance spend totaled 3.74 million for the month, and the flood budget had got up to 1.75 million, so total 2 million. Temporary slip's been completed. We've held off on that and run traffic on it for about 2 months, so that's momentarily settled down. We're pretty happy about that. The remaining flood repairs on McLean Road, which is under design, ready for us to put a consent in December, forecasting that work to commence in January. Alice Road, the flood repair work there, we've put that on hold because Environment Staff will have to complete the repairs on their flood bank, so we're in contact with them on a weekly basis, and they're programming that work before Christmas. RFS is up for September, up to 165 for the month. Most of those are based around the snow and rain event, which proved to a fairly challenging end to the month for us. Health and safety, 28 contractor safety orders were completed and 22 near misses. Midland 40% of the budget, grading 25. Just a big grading, Midland being up there a bit. South Road really got out the doors early in the season and put a lot of metal down. Open rehabilitations, Belford Glass is underway. Central rehabilitations has been awarded since this report was written and awarded to the roading company. Oakberry Gorge roading company hasn't commenced yet. And Tokanui Gorge Road is we have got the design for review at the moment. Seal widening is underway, with probably 50% of the job flanked off. Resurfacing there, we're ready to get underway there, but nothing's started. Pavement marking, the contractors are in catch-up mode still, and bridges are well underway with the downer package basically completed apart from the additional site. South Roads got their, they're underway on their 4th one and still on track. Canal Bridge is basically 95% complete, just waiting on a bit of site rails and our work.
Any questions?
Any further comments, Hartley?
No. As there was a bit of a challenge towards the end of September with that rain and snow that we had. A bit challenging.
So we're reasonably comfortable, everything is on track. As identified, there's no major risk issues that we are concerned of or that we should be made aware of?
No, there's nothing that hasn't been highlighted before that's something that we're aware of.
Yep. Open up for any questions, Councillor Harper.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, through you. Rob, where are we at with weed spraying? Not just spraying on the side of the road.
Yeah, so as of September, we did have, I think Five in particular sort of alluded to, they hadn't actually, they were behind just because of the weather event that we have had. But the contractors have commenced now for respraying, but they're all behind just because of that weather. Temporary water, as an example, tends to be done January, February, sort of the last area that gets done every year. Because I think for the Waimea lines, tend to start sort of in the northeast and then work their way around to the west and finish up in Temporary, just to follow the program.
So the Bailey Bridge that has been replaced at Monawai, what happens to those Bailey bridges? Do we keep them in storage for a rainy day? Or?
So the Bailey Bridge was we got that from NZTA, so it goes back to NZTA and they use it across the South Island. There's several across the South Island that they use. Obviously what's going on, get shifted around the countryside.
Oh, so we don't own an NZTA?
Yeah, all we use is NZTA, yeah.
Councillor McClure.
But they're not very good condition. We do own two, but they're not very good condition.
Councillor McClure.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your report. I was just looking on 16, you've added a 10th bridge to the contract at Porton Road, Tasset Creek. Was it scheduled for next year or is it being pulled into, are you ahead of target or the reason for it?
So the Horton Road Bridge, we had some, from a funding perspective, structured maintenance repairs that we were going to carry out on that, but the price difference and the life expectancy didn't make economical sense. I think Robert Creek, I think it was around $140,000 to carry out the repairs. We, through the design build contract with Downer, it was $170,000 to replace the whole bridge.
Triple the life.
So, and the way the design build bridge packages are gone, the contingency funds that we had available, we have used very minimal amount of that. So, and also with the South Road one, we have actually completed a provisional site rating there. So, from economics perspective, it was better value for money to rather than replace the bridge and effectively be able to replace it and walk away, not have to worry about in the next 5 or 10 years and come back and carry out through the bridge.
That's great, thank you.
Makes economical sense. Councillor Menzies.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There's also another bridge that's and there's some thought to replacing that or repairs, seeing the information that was put in.
Yeah. So as on a yearly basis, we continue to carry out structures inspections through the WSP contract as our structures engineering provider. So they're out doing those inspections at the moment, including the main focus around our higher, what we deem our higher risk structures, from the base structures, which that bridge is. So on a yearly basis, we have to reaffirm any restrictions or postings that we have on those bridges. That bridge did have a posting based on that latest inspection, so recommending that we can't wait until the next, generally it tends to be on an annual basis. We can't wait until then, we have to reduce the posting now to 70%, that was at 90% the last one, so it's a 20% reduction. We do reckon it is one of our busier routes being on a sealed road, so we do need to look at how we prioritise that bridge along with the rail overbridge in Waimea as another example that's got restricted at the moment. So in terms of particularly on the LPP, meeting the existing program, mention those provisional sites that we have in the design builds is, well, is there an opportunity to push those maybe out to the next LPP and reprioritise? So that's, the team's busy working on that at the moment.
Yes, there's quite a bit of concern being expressed in the community, particularly on the impact on Gerard Road.
Gerard Road would
Yes,
be the
because of logging trucks and dairy trucks and it's asking quite a few questions about what are the possibilities around addressing that.
No, we're aware of from a suitable detour perspective, it's a, it could be up to 40 kilometres if you stay on the sealed roads.
Yes.
So there's a very lengthy sealed road detour. So we're all aware of that. We've been having discussions, including this week, with the likes of Open Country Dairy, the Lion Works, as well as forestry that are predominant users. So we've been having one discussions with those industries around what can be done, even as a temporary measure, using say different moss burners going in empty, but then when they load it up, it comes through Gerard, so effectively creating a bit of a one-way system just to manage some of that risk. So those are the types of discussion we've been having over the last few days.
And how are those discussions going? I mean, what sort of response, sort of feedback are you getting?
The likes of, I'll pick on Open Country Dairy as an example, they keen to see, well, with the restrictions, based on the actual loading configurations of the vehicles, is there any chance that we could up that restriction, any other mitigation measures, to effectively get heavier vehicles over there? So they are keen to trial that and build a bit of confidence that if we put any restrictions in place, that the industry will stick to that and prove to us. So they're keen on that sort of opportunity, but they do recognise there might be limitations around that as well. I think I know Rob's been having a discussion with Longworks, so maybe be able to provide a bit more context around the Longworks discussion.
Through you, Mr. Chairman. Primarily the discussions have been with Rainier, and they're going to complete the operations of their current logging at the end of November. They've got no program works through to April, and they're trying to even jiggle that for us to go out further. So if we can alleviate that heavy transport with the logging, puts us in a lot better perspective. We've had discussions with Limeworks, and with our comms that goes out to the whole road transport forums and stuff like that. So
Thank you. I guess the community's most interested in the solution rather than the temporary measures, although they are as important as the solution and kind of understanding the timing around when the decision can be made.
But it's good that we're having those discussions with those business operators, and that there's a willingness to have that partnership arrangement and get an understanding. So I think that's important that we have that dialogue.
It's also the community seeing that this is happening.
Exactly.
Because otherwise they don't know.
Yep.
They just see that they've got to go X number of Ks as a detour.
Councillor Harper.
Yes, again, Mr. Chairman. The gravel extraction upstream of the Nokamai Bridge 2, are we starting to see a favourable response from Environment South to remove gravel into these streams?
For you, Mr. Chairman, yes, we've had a lot of discussions with Fish and Game recently and DOC, but we're getting there. The response has been positive.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, Councillor Feast.
Under the FOGO Alliance, they're saying they're going to trial of mixing two sources of gravel. What sort of monitoring is going on to sort of see whether that is actually successful in the contact?
It's just visual monitoring along with a road board. We also the number of borrowed pieces for some of these sites. There's a large number of borrowed pieces that we're getting through. So that's also a bit of that we use as an indication as to how we continue to get those large number of borrowed pieces through throughout the whole dust, etc. Just generating it. So it's a bit of a means of monitoring.
Well, no.
Hope they do a good order for pieces then.
Well, I'm pleased to hear it's working. That's good.
Another question. In our contracts with the rehabilitation guys, do we ask them to check that they haven't put any rubble or stones into the creeks or the waterways, that they're actually clear when they have finished their contract?
Don't know off the top of my head. General terms of the contracts are when you're leaving those condition. But in terms of the rehabs, generally not doing a lot of work around the riverways, unless it's specifically some rock protection. But I'd have to check on that.
It shouldn't be, it was more, the comment to me was that the problem with the backing up with the rain event was that there were rocks in the believed that they came from the rehabilitation section of the road, so I just wondered if we asked that be checked.
Just to add on, suppose when you go out for tender and you're looking at those sort of contractual arrangements, that sort of issue is actually covered off, so that we ensure that that sort of material does not end up in the waterways. So I'm not sure whether that's currently in your contractual arrangements, but maybe that's something for consideration in the future. Is how we protect our waterways, and that should be part of the contractual arrangement to ensure that our waterways are protected.
Yes, sir. Definitely from an environmental aspect, we do require it in our contracts, but to that level of detail and specificness around, not my head.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, Councillor Duffy.
Just getting back to the earlier question about the gravel build-up and removal. Do we need an individual consent for each site, or can we get a general one that covers the situation in certain circumstances?
For you, Mr Chair, generally site specific.
Is there no way that could be negotiated to be opened out more?
Probably not. It's like to clear a waterway, the consent would pretty much go from less than 500 metres individually, just to remove gravel from a flood event.
So, there's two elements. We've got a global consent effectively for managing culverts and bridges, so that's a real vicinity. So clearing up, doing maintenance works, replacing culverts up to a 1.2 metre diameter. So we've got a global consent for that. So day-to-day effectively management of our own network. But we're using the Nokamai with a specific event, not directly adjacent to the bridge itself. Or a bridge replacement, we have to apply for consent on a site-by-site specific basis. And part of that is so looking at each river or watercourse may have its own specific ecological impacts that we need to assess.
Exactly. All right, no further questions. I'll move that we receive the report. Do I have a seconder for that, please? Thank you, Councillor Fraser. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, thank you. Before we move on to the next item, my apologies to our new Chief Executive. I should have welcomed you, Cameron, and good to see you here.
Thank you,
The next item is 7.2, our program report. Morning, Nick. How are you?
Good morning, Mr. Chair, councillors. So look, I'll run through the highlights of the report and then have to take any questions. So it's actually been a really busy month in regards to the works program. A lot of staff out on construction sites, but we've now just completed the works at 20 Bond Street, and happy to advise that we received a CPU Thursday last week, and we're on track to shift the key teams across this Friday.
On budget and time.
At the moment, we're well under budget and being on time, so
Excellent.
it's been a really, really good project in regards to that. In regards to the Te Anau project, so both the packages of work from the Te Anau wastewater project have now started in construction, including the ending plant end and the SDI field. At this stage, this report doesn't cover the three water stimulus funding, the report is circa 13.5 million. That will be reported on next month once all the approvals are in place. We'll actually report in this report that separately in regards to progress against that, and keep the existing works program in its own section, just so that there's some clarity around where that project is going. We have actually sent out the request for proposal for the main panel, RETIC panel. Those were advertised in DEX on the 22nd of October. At the moment, in regards to COVID, while we've been really successful from a claims point of view, we are starting to see some supply delays starting to creep in. So that's something we're monitoring quite closely. Nothing that's affecting us at this stage, but just some conversations we're starting to have around especially goods that are imported into New Zealand. Additional stimulus package work is currently forecast to be committed to in March. I won't go over the overview in regards to the roading packages. You'll obviously just get a report on that. But some key projects that are either in just started or about to start, so we'll be pleased to know that Monkey Island is well underway again. So contractor started on there last week, and we've been working very closely with the archaeological team in regards to any digs out there. So that's well on track to be completed before Christmas. Winton Library, we've ordered contracts for all the design services. Currently that is programmed to be completed by design around February, building season March, and construction will be completed by Christmas next year. Contract's been awarded for the Lakefront Drive, handover today from the Three Waters team to the project team, so that's due to start very, very soon. Footpath on Stewart Island, we've prioritised the work around the museum, which obviously has its opening in early December. Wastewater pond fencing is now complete, and that's the key ones for that. In regards to the budgets, currently we're sitting at a budget this year of, within our CAMS system, of 30 million. Completed to date just under 6. The numbers now include the 5.4 million that was carried forward. Just for clarification, there is a difference between some of the capital that is being reported from a finance point of view in regards to some of the works that's carried out through the downer contracts, maintenance contracts, and the roading contracts. For next month, we will actually align it so that you've got an overview of the entire package, what's been delivered under the capital works program and the maintenance programs, as well as the Three Waters stimulus funding, so that those will align. So we've been doing a reasonable amount of work behind the scenes with the finance team to make sure that we can cross those two areas of the business over.
Yep.
So that's pretty much key points for the month.
Okay, I've got a couple of items there. With the COVID and supply delays, are there any areas that you feel that will provide or potentially they signify a risk to us in our service delivery?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, at this point in time we haven't identified anything specifically. Obviously from a Tiano Three Waters or Tiano wastewater project, a lot of that gear is already ordered and underway. It's a lot of the smaller stuff we're starting to see, furniture supplies, appliances, and the like that there's quite massive delays on. It is still coming through, but definitely not at the same sort of pace that we've seen.
So it's not really affecting our infrastructure, it's more...
Not at this stage, no. But we have started early conversations. Joe and the Three Waters team have started early conversations around the stimulus funding work, and conversations with all the key material suppliers. And we will start to formulate plans, if required, around purchasing in advance if need be, but we're not at that stage yet.
I visited Monkey Island there the other day, and it's good to see some progress there, so it's coming along really good. The 5.4 carried over there, 5.4 million, and I think I raised it before in the previous meeting, is that as you carry that over, it goes on top of the projects that we've already got identified for the following financial year. So now we just added on to that particular list, and it's always been a concern that there is a challenge to then to be able to achieve all those projects. So how confident and comfortable are you by adding those on to the following year that we will then achieve all those particular projects?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Look, really valid question. The big carry forward for this year was around the Tiano Wastewater project, which we all know is the biggest project that we've got going at the moment. So that is a big part of that $5 million number. The other part was the roading, some of the bridging projects, which again is already contracted and underway. In regards to what we're looking at doing, traditionally there's been, I guess, a wait until the new year turns over before we've been sort of winding into projects. We're now bringing that to some workshops early in the new year to start looking at a works program for the year ahead, so that we can make changes and prioritise projects if need be, to make sure we're heading far closer to that program works every year.
And you have sufficient resources to achieve it?
Yes, we do at the moment. So we are looking on every project in regards to what we have internally and what we have externally. In regards to likes of the Winton Library project, we've actually brought in a external project manager to push that project along, just because of the resource constraint in some of our projects. In regards to, we're well advanced with for this year, we're well advanced in any Three Waters projects. So any projects that are currently not sitting in there from a delivery point of view are into design. So all physical construction works from a Three Waters point of view is actually already in construction for this year. In regards to roading, obviously the roading team talked to you in regards to their package of work, which again is well advanced. The key risk projects are often across our portfolio, are often the community type projects, which obviously there's a different level of consultation that's required. They typically tend to be the ones that will take longer to come through and into actual physical work.
Okay. You have a comment?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. This particular question came up in the Finance and Assurance Committee meeting yesterday as well, and I think it's worthwhile reiterating some of the comment and discussion from that particular meeting. When, as Mr. Hamlet's noted, there's approximately $30 million worth of pure capital committed through NAMS. When you add in the other operational OPEX funded capital works or OPEX funded projects, that figure jumps up to in the realms of $48 million, and that's a huge jump for this organisation in terms of previous years, particularly when you go back a couple of years. So it's something that Mr. Hamlin and I and the rest of the ELT are watching reasonably closely. So whilst we are comfortable with how we're tracking at this stage of the year, it is and will remain a risk for this organisation, not just in this particular year, but even more so as we progress through the next LTP, where we note there is a significant increased commitment in capital works expenditure and looking to resolve a number of our infrastructure deficits and ramp up some of that expenditure and works delivery. So it's not just a risk for us internally from a resourcing perspective, but it's also a risk across our industry externally and across our neighbouring council partners who are similarly ramping up their works programs. So there are a number of ways in which we're looking to, I guess, address or introduce mitigations or controls against that risk. We're talking more with our other local government partners than we have previously, and that reticulation panel that Mr. Hamlin referenced earlier is a good example of that. That's a combined reticulation panel with both Invercargill City Council and Gore District Council, and has also been discussed, with our local contracting partners. So we're engaging not only with our local government partners, but also with the industry in a combined discussion as well. We're giving them fair and adequate warning of the works commitment that we're working towards ramping up to, and those discussions and conversations will need to continue. So the reticulation panel is also a good example, as is the design build packages that we've issued to the market last year is another good example of how we're looking to approach procurement differently where appropriate. So working more closely with our design partners and our contracting partners, packaging works up over multiple years. Rehabilitation perhaps are another good example of that, where we're looking to ramp up our rehabilitations from 7 to 9 kilometres a year up to 15 to 20 kilometres plus in later years of the LTP. So whereas at the moment it's a bit of a race to get those packages out to the market in a linear design, procure, construct fashion using our existing local contractor resources, it's likely that moving forward that just won't work. We will need to work more closely with our other local government partners and our local industry contracting partners to ensure that we're providing greater visibility of what's upcoming and packaging the works up in ways that enable them to deliver the works as efficiently as possible. So, a bit of a long-winded response to your question, Mr. Chairman, but as Mr. Hamlin said, a really good question, a really valid one. It's something we're watching closely and will continue to be a significant risk for this organisation moving forward.
Okay, no, thank you for that. We may have a discussion offline as to how we can introduce covering that particular aspect of in our future reports. Because I think what you've explained to us this morning is very useful information for this committee as to how we are managing that and how we're going forward with that. So I think we'll have a bit of a chat and how can we combine at a high level, not too much detail, but at a high level, so that this committee is informed of those particular aspects. I think will be very useful.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, just to add to what Mr. Russell has advised, we're also doing quite a lot of work in core improvement around the contracts that we use, simplification, the QA documents, what's going to market as standardised to simplify design standards and the like, so that so we're able to allow our market to better understand, better price, better engage with what we're actually putting out there.
So as we lift the reports up at a higher level and maybe a little bit less too detailed, maybe that's the focus we need to consider as well for this committee as well, which will be very useful. So we can actually cover those particular aspects of it. But we can have a chat about that later on. Just want to touch base on the Channel Wastewater. Jeff Gray, the project manager, showed me around both of those areas again there the other day, and I see there's some significant progress there. And they certainly had a cut and carry, and it was good to see they got quite a significant amount of bailage of that, and I think net profit approximately about 14,000 for the council. So I didn't hear of any issues or risks associated with putting that type of machinery onto the disposal field, although the pipes aren't in there yet. But they've certainly purchased smaller equipment to be able to do the cut and carry once the field is fully operational. So it's good to see that the contractor is also focused on ensuring that they have the right gear to be able to ensure they can do that cut and carry. Just trying to remember how many bales they got. About 500, yes, something around about there. So it was pretty good. And that was the first cut, considering that it had it's only been recently sowed out, so it's new pasture. So I think it will only get better as time goes on. Yeah, both sites were reasonably well managed. Health and safety, one or two issues there, but that certainly they've covered them off, so that's good. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Douglas.
Thank you. Just in relation to the washout on the cycle trail near Centre Hill, Nick, how are we going with at least a temporary repair?
Through Mr. Chairman, yes, we do have a temporary repair in place now. Or temporary, not a temporary repair, but a temporary relocation so that the trail is open again.
The downriver dash in a month. That's good. We can carry on with that, so thank you for that.
That's good. It's good news. So just carrying on from that, is there additional rock river protection work that still needs to carry out so that the cycle trail can go back to its original site?
Through Mr. Chairman, so Ashby is probably best to answer this one. There's been more detail of it, but he has met with Environment South, and there is an issue around that area with the contributory river coming into that area and effectively scouring that location out. And there's concerns that anything that goes in there will just be continued to be scoured out. So the actual repair to that area is a bigger conversation and a bigger plan than just some rocks into that area. So so the team's working pretty well through it, and we will report on a longer term solution. But we've got a temporary solution at the moment.
Right. Good. Thank you for that. That's good. That's good.
Perhaps also worthwhile noting that a key party in that discussion is NB from a funding perspective to ensure that any available funding for a great ride associated with emergency works is able to be tapped into and maximised.
Any other, Councillor Duffy?
Thank you, Mr Chair. Just on that mileage, it would seem to me that 14,000 must just be the profit over and above the costs.
Correct, that's what I said.
Yeah.
It was
So a question really is about the cycle trail. I noticed we were past there 3 weeks ago or so, and there's quite bad broom in various sections of it. I'm just wondering, what is the maintenance and monitoring plan for that?
Through Mr Chair, probably something I can't answer just quite on the spot, but I'm happy to provide that information to Council.
My understanding is that South Roads, they've got the contract to maintain and keep the spraying up along that cycle trail, so that was contracted out 12 months ago or something like that. So it's really a, I suppose, an auditing, monitoring issue there that Councillor Duffy has raised that to ensure that that is carried out, but it is contracted out to be done.
Through you, Mr Chair, I know that our cycle trail manager is out on there regularly in regards to, especially from a QA point of view.
Yep.
A lot of the work statement is obviously subject to weather and access through different times.
But I've certainly noticed a improvement on the presentation of the cycle trail itself with the spraying on the edges. You can see I was through the Queenstown the other day and saw quite a bit of the trail, and you could see the spraying had been done. So certainly an improvement to what it had been in the past. Really good.
Yeah, and just following on from that, the repairs that the roadie company effected are of a very good
High standard.
Yes. And so through Mr Chair, so Councillor Duffy, which area are you referring to in relation to?
It was north of Lumsden and south of Adelaide. I just can't remember exactly. I think it was in that Paramus area. It was really untidy.
And the other area we're going to have to watch is along the main road between Castle Rock and Mossburn,
Yes.
which is already what was sprayed. An excellent job was done. And any spraying program is only as good as the follow-up. And you know, the little bushes are starting to come away again, and that would interfere with Karen's plan to do some native plantings there. So we've got to keep that clear, because it's an excellent job was done, but it's got to be followed up.
Absolutely. Any other, Councillor Luttencourt?
Mr Chair, just wanted to make a comment. Thank you for your report. It's great to see the Lone Hills facility finished. It's a very proactive committee up there, and they're stoked. Originally they were going to be forward to put down the liner and paint it, but use of reserve money, and the committee is really delighted, so thank you.
Councillor Byers.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Just regarding the council trail and the spraying of broom, I wonder if perhaps we could consider the notion that people travel down there to look at the beauty of the area, and a lot of people think that by poisoning the place it detracts from the beauty. And if we also consider that broom, if Councillor Douglas mentioned planting through there, well, young trees get well supported by broom as they become established, so it could perhaps be just a change of perception that's required there rather than dousing the place in poison.
I've got no further comment on that, but does anybody else wish to make any comment? Okay. That's something for consideration. Thank you for raising that.
Oh, thank you, Mr Chairman.
Yes, the Model Y suspension bridge, you've done the detailed inspections, and you're undertaking 2 stages of maintenance either to be undertaken within the funding cycle, and full deck replacement and painting to be carried out early in the next LTP. Does that bring the bridge back up to Class 1?
Through you, Mr Chairman, again, that's probably not an area of my knowledge or expertise. I'll have to get the rating team to come back to you on that one.
Okay, we'll arrange that. Yeah, Councillor Duffy.
Sorry, this might be your area now either. It's not a big thing, but I went to 42 Don Street the other day to pick up something, and when you went into the little foyer or porch area where the door is, I ended up having to ring the 0800 number to ask someone to come and answer the door. I just wonder if, I'm not sure to what extent members of the public would go there, but we need some information information on what to do once you're there, basically.
Maybe they had a CTV camera and they could see you and they
Through you.
But yeah, very, very valid point. Councillor.
Through you, Mr. Chair, yes, in regards to 42, there's actually now, we put signage up advising what people do when they arrive. There is a number there that they can, you can ring or sign in. There has been some issues with the signing system where effectively the printout's coming over here, but we're working through to address that.
Good point. Councillor Scott.
Just in relation to Councillor Dudley's question, are we managing the public expectation well, with that being a more sort of out there site that people might be thinking they can go there to do? Like, are we getting many people expecting to have that public information notice?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, we have had a couple of public come up to 42. Obviously, we have installed signage for the fact of all of those sites will be visited by council, by contractors, suppliers, consultants. So we have invested in putting signage in. We've obviously done some work on social media around where the public still come, obviously 4th Street, but we will keep pushing that through social media and newsletters out to our community.
Any other questions? Somebody like to move that we receive the report, total certain assets program report. Thank you, Councillor Whitehall, seconded by Councillor Douglas. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you. Good discussion. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
You've got a wee bit of homework over too.
Yeah, a little bit of homework.
Okay, Bill, we've got the next item, 7.3 on page 43 of your agenda, is the Downer Water Wastewater Maintenance Contract Monthly Report for September. Bill, welcome.
So the main body of the report is read, apart from noting that there were no health and safety incidences at all this month, which is great, a little unusual, great. The other thing I was going to raise is that because we're predicting a dry summer, we will be putting out some advice on water conservation, which we do most years. Last year was necessary, it's pretty weak, but we're predicting this year it will dry out again. So that'll go through the media, through the usual channels.
So, when will that commence?
It's normally about this time of year we start looking at it. The urban centres they don't seem to be drying out yet, but there are we're noticing the demand on some of the water supplies as well picking up. So.
The sooner you activate that, the better it is, rather than wait until the paddocks are turned yellow. Any other issues you got there?
No, those are the main things I was going to
Nothing that's
bring up,
keeping you
but if there's any questions around the report.
Nothing that's keeping you awake at the moment with regards to the union?
No more than usual.
Alright. So, questions on this report? There being none, somebody like to move that we receive the report. Thank you, Councillor Owen, and seconded by Councillor Menzies, I believe. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against, thank you. So, on page 63 of your agenda, Tiana Wastewater Scheme update. Nick, since you did so good last time, you should come up again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I'm a little bit of a late stand-in for this one. Jeff has had to shoot away for a personal matter, but I will talk through a couple of the key items within the report. So we have had, from a health and safety point of view, we've had 2 incidents on site. One of those was, the first incident was the excavator coming in momentary contact with the 11 kVA line. So a full investigation was done by both the contractor and STC, as well as notifying it to to WorkSafe. We have had notification back from WorkSafe that they are certified that in regards to what is actually being done and aren't going to investigate it any further. But following the incident, Jeff held quite a robust workshop on site around protocols, and there's been a lot of secondary protection put in place in regards to those lines in the work, and also we carried out obviously under our policies the post-incident drug testing and the like as well, so we didn't have any issues there. So the second one was of lesser. It was effectively a grader cooking a truck. So no personnel involved, obviously, other than the plant. As Jeff has noted in here, currently there's no foreseeable delays in regards to COVID. We were well sort of advanced of discussions and supplies on that. South District Council, along with Fulton Hogan and Downers, have been in contact with local resources in regards to ensuring that, or both Fultons and Downers have been looking for additional resources. So there has been very good linkages between South District Council having discussions with Glenn Saunders in regards to applying those resources. As I spoke on the last report, we've established site on both sites. We've completed the installation of the remaining 100 metres pipeline to headworks. You touched on 500 bales. I've got a note here, 495 bales. And 14k returned after the contract costs. And we've obviously had the lodgement of the SDI consent with SDC by Fulton Hogan. Still just working through some of the minor design items in regards to the MF plant, and at this point in time we haven't had any further escalation from a recovery point of view. The project in regards to the program is well on track, and we've got a really good team there with Jeff leading, as well as monitoring engineering and QA on site, so a really good team working there, and both Downers and Fulton Hogan are performing at this point in time.
Thank you for that, Nick. I certainly, when I was on site there the other day, I've seen the improvements with regards to health and safety. So they've certainly done a very thorough investigation, and it's very good to see, and it's certainly made some significant improvements, which is good. And I presume those sort of incidents they reported through our own system as well, so they picked up there.
Yes, it is.
It's been done, so that's good. And the other area that wasn't picked up with your presentation was the resource consent application for the ongoing discharge to the Corona River. Is that on track?
Through Mr. Chairman, I have reached out today in regards to Simon who's leading that, but I think Mr. Russell has some update on that possibly.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I can confirm that things are on track there. We've received the final written approval that we were awaiting from Te Marama, and we're anticipating a notification decision from Environment Southland within the next 10 days. However, one of the things I would note, and we flagged from the outset, is that we do anticipate that this will potentially be a notified consent, and we've planned program budgeted for that accordingly.
Thank you. Councillor Menzies.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Does that mean there wasn't a need to provide a cultural impact statement? Or is that something that's still got to be provided and we're still waiting to hear whether it's required or not?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, I apologise, Councillor Menzies, I'm not able to respond to it. I don't have that detail, I'm sorry.
It just says that currently we're still awaiting clarification on the need to provide a cultural impact statement.
My understanding is that's happened, and
It has happened.
Tammy have been even advised on the type of trees and stuff to plant, and I may be wrong.
Well, it goes on to say that agree a potential planting regime along the riverbank, and we had the same report last time, so I'm just.
Excuse me, apologies, but there has been agreement on a
bunting plan and program, and that was part of Te Amarama providing the written approval. And once we captured the wishes of Te Amarama in terms of the planting regime and developed an MOU and agreed that with Te Amarama they were happy to sign the written approval form.
So everything is now addressed and we're just waiting for the decision on the topic notification.
Exactly.
So we won't read that again next time. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Just one, Nick, that amount of bales you said before, just for curiosity, was for 490? 490 bales, and what was the revenue?
14,000.
That's better. Good.
So,
Thank you.
Just to perhaps explain that just from the farmer's point of view, the cost of making bale is about $35 a bale, and they'd sell it for about 65. That gives you a gross profit of 30. 30 times 500 is 15,000. So that's basically where you've got it.
The cost of the barge was slightly higher, mainly due to that the contractor did buy some specific gear, and I can see there's recoup some of that cost, but your financial analysis is pretty close.
Yeah.
And then, you know, in a normal year, would we expect to do 3 cuts?
Oh, if not more, because of the,
you know, it's not going to be subject to a summer dry, one would hope, because of the effluent / irrigation that's going on.
And probably no stock on it as well, so you basically cut care of a lot. So you get some significant cuts out of it.
Does it get fertilised or?
It gets fertilised by itself.
That's still a case.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
That is a good question. You know, that is a good question, because the effluent that's going on may not contain all the nutrients that are necessary for optimal grass growth.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, one of the consent conditions is that we can't have nitrogen. So we aren't necessarily able to maximise the efficiency of the current carry operation. The focus is on the nitrogen uptake from the application of the wastewater itself. So adding nitrogen is in this instance not able to be undertaken.
No, and I certainly wouldn't advocate adding nitrogen, but when you take off a lot of grass over the year, you do deplete potash and potassium. And so, you know, I would suggest that we do have the soil annually soil tested and analysed and be guided by those results.
It's a pretty valid point, Councillor Douglas, and it will be tested a lot more than annually. It's fairly extensive through the pasture management plan that has been developed in conjunction with Landcorp is very comprehensive in comparison to standard pasture management that we might see elsewhere.
Councillor Duffy.
Oh, I remember reading in the report there was reference to fertiliser and practice from there on. So, following up Councillor Meads about that cultural impact report, my experience is that there actually is a bit to them. I think it would be worth following up and just seeing what. I mean, it's not just about planting a few trees, it's sort of a bit deeper than that. And there would, I would have thought, the input from both parties and possibly the local landowner in there. So I think it might hurt to ask the question as to whether that is actually done or not.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, absolutely. I would note, I have every confidence that Simon Moran, as the community leadership team member, will be well on top of that. It's just my apology, I don't have that information here and now, but we will mention to Simon that the topic came up and ensure
getting back to the balers again. So with the SDI, we won't have to have the purple wrapping because it's not irrigated over top with Teflon. Am I correct?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, this time around.
I mean in the future.
In the future, I think we do need to flag with balage wrap the fact that Effluent has been involved in the production of that balage, even though it's subsurface drip irrigated rather than surface irrigated, on the basis that the uptake into the is still present.
It's also my understanding that we probably have one buyer for that product. And I think Landcorp are looking at purchasing that product, so that will assist as well, because they have one buyer.
Because so I don't believe the balage would be able to be fed to milk and cows.
So they can't. No.
So so that gives you a restricted market.
Yes.
It means it can be fed to dry stock, that's non-lactating stock.
Exactly.
And
That's exactly it.
that's the issue.
Councillor Fest.
Chair, in regards to balance, regarding the cultural impact statement, can we make sure that we use Te Marama's full name rather than the acronym?
Good point. Very valid.
Previous Chair will make sure that is released and will provide some further detail around what has been completed in regards to that cultural impact statement.
Any other further questions, comments? There being none, I'm happy to move that we receive the report. I'd second for that, please. Thank you, Councillor Harper. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Carried. Right, we'll now go to public excluded, and we'll just take a 5-minute chit-chat, and we'll we go off here and
Yep. You want to move this again?
Was it? The meeting? This one.
Oh,